It is Sunday morning and bright, sunny, and hot. I thought I would come on and do a book haul. I haven't done a book haul for a little bit, and I've got some stuff stacking up here to show you. I also have a little box of gifts that I've been given over the last few weeks. So several cozy, fun things to share with you all. Hope everybody is enjoying summer so far. I think that we are probably like halfway through and it's going by really quick, so that's good because I cannot wait for fall. I've already put some fall themed things in my Etsy shop and I'm already kind of advertising for fall and no one's really biting, so maybe I jumped the gun a little bit, but I'm really excited. Yeah, everybody keeps buying the summer stuff still, so all right, fine. I'll let you guys have your summer, but I'm going to play pretend in my fall because when I go into like Hobby Lobby or some of the other shops, they've already got the fall stuff out, right? So there are places where I can pretend that it is autumn, but not outside my door because it's roasting hot out there. I think our high today is like 93, 94. We're already at like 82. That is hot, but what really makes it hot is when you have humidity. So we've had actually fairly dry days, but some of them have been quite humid, and then your hair is everywhere, you can't breathe. Yeah, I'm still not acclimated to the South, and we've been here since 2013, so I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. All right, I'll start with my gift box. First thing I got, a couple of weeks ago, I got in the mail a beautifully wrapped gift from Anne from In Search of Wonder. She sent me one of her blind date with a book, and so I'll show you some of the little goodies that were included with it. There was a cute card here, and it says, "Give me grace, glory, and good coffee." So if you watch Anne, you know how much she loves her coffee. So she gave me a nice little card there. A sticker here, and then on the outside of her, if you've been to her Etsy shop, she does blind dates with books, and so she decorates the outside of the package really pretty with different things. This is a little magnetic bookmark, and there's some stickers here, and I'm not sure if I got these from Anne or from my pen pal because the pen pal letter was sitting on top of Anne's package in my pile of things to like show, you know. So I don't know if they fell out of the pen pal envelope or if these are from Anne, but anyway, they're pretty and they go with it. And then it's really like cool fine liner pen. I've never had one of these before, so, and I love to annotate my books, so that's gonna be fun. And then this cute let me get off of here, this cute little post-it notepad. It's also good for annotating, right? And then the package, I can kind of show you, had this pretty gold, ooh, shiny, tape here and a pretty butterfly. So it was just fun to open that up. And when I did, there was The Scapegoat by Daphne du Maurier, and she talked in her card about how she knows that I like Daphne du Maurier, and I do, and I've not read this, and I don't own it, so it was the perfect gift. So thank you, Anne. It was so thoughtful of you to send this book to me. I'm really going to look forward to reading this. So I'll put that on Mount TBR. The next gift that I received, this is from my husband. He has been practicing bookbinding, and he made me a little journal. Some of you have seen this before because I did show this in my Jane Austen giveaway video. Not this exact one, but one similar to it. We are actually giving away one of these in my Jane Austen July giveaways. If you're not familiar with that, go down to the description box and find the link for the Jane Austen July giveaway video. But be listening throughout this video because I will be saying a key word. And when you hear the key word, you need to go down to the link down in my description box. I have a place that says something like, put your keyword at this link or whatever. You go to the link and you put in your information there in the keyword to enter into the drawing for the things that I'm giving away. I have put a different keyword in every video that I've made in July this year, as well as in my June 30th video. So if you are not caught up, go back and watch those videos and get caught up so that you can enter as many times as possible to win some of the prizes. One of the prizes is a journal very similar to this, but this is the one that Jamie made for me. And so very special. I love having these little journals. They're really fun for like a commonplace book, or, just for nature, writing, or sketching. The pages are blank. So if you want one of these right away, we do have a couple still in the Etsy shop, which is also in the description box. So you guys can go and get one from our Etsy shop if you want. He's already working on some that have different fabric designs on them too. So those will be coming throughout the summer and probably the fall. All right, and then this is actually a gift that I bought myself. I was in Walmart and I saw this little like collection of journals tied up with twine, and I was like, that's not very Walmart-y. So I bought it because I was like, that's actually super cute. So this is the first time I'm untwining it so we can see what they all look like. So that's the top one. And then, oh, these are so cute. There's this one and this one. And what I like to use these really thin, as you can see, they're super thin. They're probably only like 60 pages or something. I like to use these for different topic studies for research. So like, for instance, right now I am studying medieval history and different aspects of the Middle Ages. And so I would use one of these journals for each kind of subtopic for notes and, for notes on further research topics, or maybe I just, there's something interesting I want to write down, something that I want to look into further, just something that I learned, etc. They're just kind of topic notebooks, right? Another thing that I am starting to study is kind of the liturgy, the liturgical churches and the liturgy, and like what all that's about. I've never been in a church that has like a liturgical calendar or anything like that. But it's very interesting to me. And I'm actually interested to see how many people, like women my age who are like coming out of homeschooling, seem to be pursuing this interest in the liturgy. I don't really know what's up with that, but I'm kind of noticing a pattern. So anyway, that's one of the things that I will use for this little book as I'm studying that, learning about that. Something I'm just curious about. It's very curious and interesting to me how different Christian believers practice their faith. And so that will be something. So just like topic journals, right? Like I don't need a great big notebook for something like that, but as I study these different things or learn about them throughout my life, I'll have these different topic journals. So that's what that's for. All right, and then the rest of the things in this box are from my secret sister. So online, I'm part of a Facebook group that does Secret Sister. Other than advertising my shop, is literally the only thing I do on Facebook, because Facebook is poison. But I do this little Secret Sister group with some people I don't know. I think there's only a handful of people in there that actually know in person. But anyway, so this Secret Sister, I got a new Secret Sister last month. So she has sent me some really sweet things. I think I showed you guys already the composition books that she sent me that are kind of like nature-y, and then some pretty pens. Well, then she sent me another box of just stuff that's totally my vibe, right? So there's a set of these 4 mugs. There's a raccoon, and they're all kind of in this winter theme. Here's an owl. I have this same set of mugs, but with a fall theme. So it's like the same animals, but with fall background. So now I have a set for winter. A little bunny there. And this one is the fox. And I think I'm just so into nature stuff right now. And I think that might go along with that interest in the liturgical year and studying the seasons and just paying attention to things like that. I'm not really sure. Like I said, it's a beginning study, but just things that have to do with, I don't know. I feel like I just really want to immerse myself in every season, because for so long I've just hated the summer, completely despised the summer, and love the fall, love the winter. But here I've been resentful of the winter because we don't get snow for 9 months like we do in Eastern Oregon. And so, the winter's not real. So I'm kind of mad at the winter. And then the spring, I'm mad at the spring because that means summer's coming. Like, I've just kind of had like this baby immature attitude about God's seasons that he gave us. But as I'm growing up, I'm realizing that there's actually beauty to be found in every season. And weirdly enough, it's really been my YouTube channel that has helped me with that, because each month, what do? We look and see, okay, well, what reading challenges are going on this month? And what can I read that's summer themed? And what can I read that's, end of summer themed going into fall, the last few, weeks of warm and all those things. We're looking for stuff to kind of make us feel in that mood, right? For mood reading. And I'm finding that as I do that, I'm starting to anticipate, well, hey, I can read this when summer comes, and looking forward to that. So whatever you got to do to survive is my motto. But I really do think that I'm personally just coming into a season of my life where I am just really wanting to appreciate every season, every moment, every day, every opportunity, the changes that are happening, embrace the changes. It's okay. If I focus on things that are stable, right? I know some of I'm sorry, I'm preaching kind of, but some of my booktube friends like me are in this season where our kids are growing up, they're getting married, we're having grandkids. Our kids are going, different directions than the way we raised them, or, not necessarily bad, just different. And it can seem so chaotic and crazy. It can seem so just overwhelming, like everything's just, a big mushed up, turned up, sand. I'm talking about sand in the bottle, and you shake it and everything goes crazy. I'm trying to say. You get it. It feels like that, right? But I think that I'm recognizing there are some stable things. Like for me, my marriage is stable. We'll be married 28 years next Saturday. So that's stable. My relationship with my husband's stable. My relationship with God is stable. I'm not questioning and wondering and, looking for spiritual help and guidance. Like, I'm good. I've got my relationship with God is very stable and strong. Relationship with, some of my children, especially the ones that live here still at home. I have some very stable relationships with some of my children that are just my best friends. And, just different things. My home, there's just things that are stable, and I'm learning to really focus in on that and let the things in my life that are changing or that just feel chaotic, just let them be that way. Okay, enough preaching, enough sidetracking. The next gift that I have is this box of tea. This is Earl Grey from Hampstead. This is from my secret sister. And I really love Earl Grey tea. It's just, I don't know what about it. As a bergamot, I don't know, something. I just really, really love this. So this will be fun to try. And then finally, on this same theme of everything I've been saying, she got me this devotional called Seasons of Wonder. It's a 52-week interactive devotional. And it says to discover God enfleshed in the world. So just connecting with God's creation, looking at what he created, why he created it, what he wants to speak to us through it, those sorts of things. I don't know, I'm just really ready to kind of go deeper there as far as all that goes. So this looks really beautiful. I think I'm really going to enjoy that. All right, and then next I have a stack of things that are kind of like Jane Austen related, or just like that era, Georgian Regency era related. And I was saying in one of my previous videos lately, every Jane Austen July, around this time, into June, mid-July, I go on and just order a few books that are maybe rare or out of print, just things that I know I want to add to my collection, especially things that are like research stuff, right? Nonfiction things that I can just add to my collection of study materials and etc. And especially things that are hard to get, that there are only one or two copies like anywhere online. Those are the things that I really try to snatch up. Especially in this era of study related to Jane Austen, the older the better, in my opinion, because Jane Austen kind of had a resurgence in the 90s and she's just been gaining momentum since. But the problem that we're having lately, Lucy Worsley, is that a lot of Jane Austen scholars are making her, just changing her up a bit to fit the 21st century a little better. And I don't know. She's 251 years old this year. Not a lot probably has changed in our knowledge of Jane Austen in the last 20 or 30 years. However, scholars for the new era want to bring out something new and undiscovered, right? And usually it's kind of made up or exaggerated at the best. So I try to go for things that are older just to kind of avoid that 21st century. I hate the word wokeism, but that's kind of what it is. Sorry, guys. All right, just that 21st century new Jane. So I've got a stack here. Let's go through this. So this is Jane Austen's England by Maggie Lane. This looks to be like a 90s publication. And so each chapter is just a different part in England. We've got London, we've got Southampton and Portsmouth, the Midlands, Devon and Dorset. It basically just takes each section of England and talks about Jane Austen's experience there, or that portion of England during the time of Jane Austen. Yeah, this was first published in 1986, reprinted in 96. So there's that. Sorry about the glare. And then I'm really excited about this book. This is The London Pleasure Gardens of the 18th Century by Warwick Wroth. And I only found a couple of these, but I wanted to get this because of Sydney Gardens, which is interesting to me. When I was in Bath 2024, a couple of times ago, like the time before last, I think. I visited Sydney Gardens with my daughter in the spring, and it was so beautiful. And I just kind of put me on this interest in the pleasure gardens and what kind of things were there and what kind of things did you do there. I wonder if it was similar to like the town square. Like here in Northwest Arkansas, we've got several different town squares where it's very beautiful, lots of, landscaping, gardening going on. And then people just kind of hang out and visit. And there's different things that happen there, concerts or just, get-togethers and farmers markets and things like that. So I'm just wondering if that's kind of the same concept, just kind of on a bigger level. I'm not really sure. But anyway, this was first published in 1896 and reprinted in 1979, which is the year I was born. So looking forward to reading through that. This is an Oxford English classics called 18th Century Women Dramatists. And one of the things that I think I'm going to really dive in to study soon is just the 18th century women, whether they were writers or, playwrights, poets, and then just study some of those women and their writing and the contribution that they have made to literature and the arts. Because there's this whole idea that, women just haven't been writing throughout the centuries, and they very much have been. So I would like to discover more of that. So there are four plays in here, and that will be interesting to go through. This book is called Brilliant Women, 18th Century Bluestockings. And the original term Bluestockings basically just meant, a woman who wanted to be educated, or a person, just anybody who wanted to be educated. And so over time, it's kind of morphed to mean different things or be a little bit more nuanced in one direction or another. But the idea of educated women and women who, valued their own intelligence and wanted to increase it, like, I'm all for that, right? So I thought that would be fun to go through. All right, and then I've got Jane Austen and the Clergy, which I think I showed you guys this the other day because I was thinking about starting it, and I haven't actually started it yet. But this is actually a study that I've been wanting to do for a good 10 or 12 years. About probably 10-ish years ago, a little over 10 years ago, I was walking through Chawton with one of my friends, and we were talking about Jane Austen and her life in the church. And she's originally from England. At the time she was living in, I think she was living in India at the time, but she was telling me about the churches and just kind of the traditions and things there in the Church of England and whatever. And so it really put me on this path of wanting to learn more about the church during the time of Jane Austen and her own personal faith. So that'll be a fun addition to all that study I've been doing. And then I got this, which I think I've shown this as well when I did my video on what I was going to read for Jane Austen July. This is Hannah More's play called Percy, which I'm hoping to read through this month. I got this book, The Fatal Unpleasantness. I got this book, The Fatal Unpleasantness at Netherfield. That's so hard to say when you are trying to fight a lisp, but let me just tell you. The Fatal Unpleasantness. I lisp. Anyway, but that's by Claudia Gray. This is book 5 in the Mr. Darcy, Miss Tilney series. And I did just finish this yesterday or the night before. I can't remember. And I liked it. That's all I'll say for now. And then Jane Austen Fashion. This is a book just on Jane Austen fashion. And this one has had many reprints, but this one I think is the first edition from the 90s, 99 maybe? Yeah, 99. So has lots of photos and just discussion on fashion. All right, so that's all my Jane stuff, I think, and the keyword is sunshine. This next pile of stuff, this is stuff that I just ordered online, I think. This is a book that this is a nonfiction, kind of a Christian, it's not really devotional, it's more just like a nonfiction Christian book, I don't know. Anyway, read this a long time ago. It's called Courageous Gentleness by Mary Ann Froehlich. It says, following Christ's example of restrained strength. I actually was reminded of this book when I was putting together some answers for a tag video that I haven't put up yet. And I was like, I need to get that book again. So I read this several years ago. This book really did a lot to change my perspective on things. There's a lot to it, but basically I'm just a very opinionated, outspoken, independent person with a very leadership qualities to the max, right? But it can serve badly to maybe distance me from people, make me out to be kind of mean and intimidating. Just that meek and quiet spirit. Yeah, that's really, really hard for me. So this book just kind of addresses that. It talks about being gentle, having tender-hearted kindness toward people. One of the things I had written down about this was she says that many women, because she was talking about her personality very similar to mine, and she said that many women who are like that feel like being gentle equates to being kind of a wimp or a pushover. It's a personality trait, gentleness, that some people just come by naturally and other people really have to work for, but it's a fruit of the spirit that we're all supposed to have, right? So she just really addresses that in such a great way here about how you can still have that very strong, independent, in charge sort of mentality. You don't have to stifle yourself. You just need to learn how to do it in a way that is gentle and kind and, I don't know, socially acceptable. So everybody doesn't hate you. Yeah. So anyway, really loved that. And I definitely want to read through that again. I read through it probably close to 10 years ago. And so I'd like to read through it again now that so much of that part of my character has been gentled down a little bit. Some by my own efforts and some just by the world knocking me around, right? All right, next book that I got was Mrs. Lorimer's Quiet Summer by Molly Clavering. I've been wanting to try one of these furrowed middle brow books, and so I just picked one. This one is called Mrs. Lorimer's Family in the U.S. It was reprinted in the U.S., and I don't know how many of Molly Clavering's books have been reprinted in the U.S. at the time of her writing, but that one was. I happened to see it on eBay when I was looking for these. And so, anyway, just a little FYI for you. But I'm looking forward to this. I've heard a lot about them. A lot of my favorite booktubers are reading these furrowed middle brow books. So we'll see what I think. I'm kind of in that season of wanting to have gentle reading, right? Going along with that liturgical thing and the seasons and the, just immersing into whatever, the current seasonal experiences. Along with that, I am trying to read a little more gently and positively and just things that make me feel just happy. I don't know. Why is that a concept? All right. I got Castle of the Winds. This is book 3 in the Secrets of Ormdale series by Christina Baehr. I started this last night. I'm 54 pages in. I'm reading it, but I'm not loving it. I'm not connecting, you know? I don't know why, but I'm not. Okay, but I'm reading it. So, all right, now this next book I'm really excited that I got. I found this on Pango. It was the only one. This is called Around the World in 11 Years by Patience, Richard, and John Abbe. And I showed you guys a copy of this, I think in my last book haul, where I opened it up and there was a great big like square cut out of it, right? Someone was using it as a book to like hide stuff in. And so I thought I had to buy it because that was just hilarious. But obviously I can't read it because 50 of the pages have a big square hole in the middle of them. So I'm keeping it and I'm going to hide things in it and put it in my library for my kids to find someday. But I also found an actual readable copy of it on Pango. It's exact same year and copy and looks the same and everything. So that'll be even weirder, right? To draw them to this book in my library to open up and wonder, what's going on with this book? So I'm looking forward to reading this. It's a nonfiction that some kids wrote about the time that their family traveled to different places. And I can't remember why they traveled. At first I thought they were missionaries, but I don't think they were now that I read some more, but I can't remember what they did. But anyway, the inscription in this book says, "Merry Christmas, Johnny, from Helen Louise, December 25th, 1940. That's sweet. Okay, and then I got this book, Christina, Queen of Sweden, by Veronica Buckley. Now, I don't remember why I bought this, but I was reading, at the time I bought this, I was either reading Agatha Christie's autobiography or the book Jesus Through Medieval Eyes by Grace Hammond. One of them talked about Christina, the Queen of Sweden, and how eccentric she was, and just kind of like, she just did stuff against what she should have been doing for her time, I guess. I think the reason that I was interested in this is because she put together a library, from what I understand. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of read some more about her. So I picked up this biography of her. It says she was one of the most flamboyant and controversial figures of the 17th century. So we'll see. All right, and then my kids went to summer camp and were telling me all the stories, and I got to thinking about this book from my childhood. This is Yours Till Niagara Falls, Abbe. This is about a girl who goes to summer camp and has to leave her best friend for like a week, and all the letters that she writes home. It's very epistolary. So I did pick this up and thought that if I don't read it before then, I can read it for Epistolary January. But I just was feeling kind of nostalgic, and I thought I'd read it and then see if maybe it's something that I would like my girls to read too, so they can get a feel for what summer camp was like in the 70s and 80s. All right, and then I have one more book that came in the mail, and then everything else is stuff that I got at the bookshop. But this is Il Dineril. This is by Taylor Page. She is a indie author who sent me this to ask if I would look it over and review for her. It is a fantasy story, and I'm not necessarily a fantasy reader, but I thought I would give it a try because there's other fantasies that I've read lately and trying, right? So I thought it was really pretty, and we'll see about that. And then everything else here I got at a bookshop. So I went to the bookshop looking for like early to mid 20th century British women authors writing about cozy cottage family village life. I have a whole list of authors to look for. Didn't find a whole lot because most of these are probably not published in the US or very rarely and hard to find. But I did find a few. I found two by Agatha Christie that I don't have. I've actually haven't heard of either of these. This one is called Surprise, Surprise. And I've said before, but I like to collect these older ones because they have not yet been rewritten by modern day censors. I do have a problem with censorship. I don't have a problem with personal censorship. Like we should be censoring ourselves and making good judgments about what we read, but we should be doing that, right? I don't think anybody should be doing that for us. So anyway, so there's another one published in the 80s, early 90s. This is called The Golden Ball and Other Stories. And it doesn't really look like this one has a particular, whether, particular detective involved. So just some mysterious short stories. All right, then next, when I got this stack of books, I had only heard this author's name. When I got home, I read a little bit, and now I'm not so sure if I'm gonna like, but I got a stack of books by Barbara Pym. Just kind of give it a minute if anybody needs to like have a freak out. This is an autobiography, A Very Private Eye by Barbara Pym. And then I have 3 stories. There's Some Tame Gazelle, An Unsuitable Attachment, and Civil to Strangers and Other Writings. The cover of Some Tame Gazelle says, Jane Austen recreated, but Barbara Pym is funnier. Some Tame Gazelle was Barbara Pym's first novel to be published in England. I don't know where she was publishing before that. Interesting. This is the first one published in England. This one, An Unsuitable Attachment, says it was the 7th novel and the last one that she wrote before a 15-year silence, when she gave up writing novels altogether until 1977. So when I got home, I kind of did like a little Wikipedia. And I was kind of like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about these. So if you've read Barbara Pym, if you know me, if you have a good idea of the kind of things I like to read, let me know what you guys think. If there's like, I'm not a romance reader, but I don't mind romantic elements as long as that's not the main plot of the story. Like, I really liked the 2 Mary Stuart books I read, Rose Cottage and Thornyhold, because there was a gentle like romance in the background, but it was more about this woman and her own personal growth. So I'm good with that kind of stuff. I don't want like a simpering, whiny wet woman just looking for love in all the wrong places. So you guys can let me know. All right, next up is this one, Dorothy L. Sayers' Lord Peter. I think this is a collection of Lord Peter stories. All the Lord Peter Wimsey stories are here in a single volume. Yep. So Dorothy L. Sayers is somebody that I have been wanting to read because there's a book by Marie Benedict that features several mystery authors from that time, women mystery authors. Agatha Christie and the Baroness Orsi and Dorothy L. Sayers and a couple others that I can't remember. But I started to read it, and Dorothy L. Sayers plays a pretty big part in this story, and I just wasn't into it because I didn't know anything about her writing, her character, herself, or anything. So I might like these. You guys can let me know what you think. Surely there's a Dorothy L. Sayers reader out there somewhere. And then finally, I got these 2 books by Jean Plaidy, who I actually adore Jean Plaidy. So she wrote under several different names, Eleanor something Burford. She wrote under the name Victoria Holt for her Gothics. She wrote under the name Jean Plaidy for her like historical fiction, especially the stuff that she wrote about kings and queens. And I really like her. So I got A Murder Most Royal, which is the story of Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard. And then I got this one, Evergreen. Is it gallant or gallant? I say gallant, but I've heard people say gallant. So you guys can tell me what you think about the pronunciation of this word. But anyway, that's what I got. This one looks like it's about King Henri of the French during the time of Catherine de Medici. Anyway, I thought this one looked fun because I think this is actually a UK publication. I've never seen any Jean Plaidys like this here. So I thought it would be fun to add to my collection. And I say that I don't read romances and then I pull up these Jean Plaidy books, but they're historical, so I don't know. Anyway, there's something about her. I make an exception. I really do like her books. And guys, that's it. That is my great big huge book haul and gift haul. Maybe it's not a lot big and maybe I just talk a lot, but I feel like this video is super long. So thanks for sticking around. Make sure that you enter that keyword into the little link thingy that I have going on so you can enter the giveaway. And hope everybody's doing great. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead with lots of beautiful summer stuff. I'll see you soon, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.